Making sure you're awake.
Oh, he's awake. I know who it is.
Thank you,
All
Mr.
right.
Mayor.
Thank
Thank
you,
you,
Jane.
Council. Thank you to members of the public who have joined us this evening. As many of you know, the new website has a section under the Government tab called City Projects and Updates. Oops, went there on its own. And there you will find several of these types of presentations. The one I'm going to do this evening is an update on the master plan, kind of. You'll see where I'm going with this one. And then also any of you that are interested in Exit 1, where I've got my cursor on now, you click on that and you'll see a soup to nuts presentation about Exit 1 beginning 20 years ago to date. Also, I'll say that those of you who are interested in the progress that we're making on Exit 1, City Council will receive an Exit 1 update at their regular meeting this coming Monday, April 7th. Okay, so let's dive in. If you go visit this part of the website, you can get to this presentation just by clicking on it, and it'll bring you to this. Now, we do this update quarterly. And for those of you that have been sort of following these updates, at least in my time here, you'll know that I've spent the last year kind of winding us down from the master plan that was written in 2017. Okay, so on this presentation style is quite nice in that links are embedded in it. This is accessible to you at any time on the website. You can go, you can click, you can read it at your leisure. If you would like to see the full master plan that we approved in 2017, you just simply click on it here and it'll take you to there. Part of the 2017 master plan was what's called a community work plan, and you can access that also from these presentations. There were over 100 action items that we put forward in 2017. The last time I gave an update, I wanted to really kind of shed a light on the accomplishments that we as a city have had in the 10 years since this master plan was penned. We are excited to begin the Renaissance and Strategic Visioning plan with the Carl Vinson Institute that's underway right now, and I'll address that a little bit later in this presentation. But also, we set out in 2017 to create the Commerce Park, and we did it. And now it's active and has some great businesses in it. We set out to do the Gateway Marina, which now the first phase of that is open. So mission accomplished. Our senior center has a new location, it's open, and it's growing. And we've been able to secure the funding to complete the Tabby Trail. So a lot of really excellent work has happened over the last 10 years or so. Let's see, what just happened? Right, a little technical difficulty there. Hold on a minute. There we go. Okay. We also put out to do some things that we didn't accomplish. And for a variety of reasons, just some ideas that we may have had didn't really stick. We were super interested in 2016 in the aquaculture industry, and we never quite moved that forward. One of the main priorities out of the 2017 master plan was to create potentially a blight tax to go after vacant commercial properties, particularly on our commercial corridor that is Route 40. So really just kind of taking stock of the things that we did accomplish and some of the things that we did not accomplish. As part of that process, which we began last year, and it is still open, there is a survey that's embedded in this. I think this is old. Some of you have completed it. We did get about 120 responses. And really what it was just looking at some of the items that we have remaining in the 2017 master plan that we haven't fully accomplished, and trying to get a sense for what was still a priority that the community wanted to move forward with. Okay, so where are we in the process of this transition? As I said about a year ago, and forgive me that this has cut off, but in October of 2024, during these quarterly meetings, we really started to kind of document and reflect the work that we had done. So the slides that I just showed you previously, that's when that work started, to try to go in and see what did we accomplish, what is left over, And then in January, when I last gave this update, we were kind of thinking about, okay, what did we not act on? And maybe we should have. And I think part of those conversations and really the retreat that staff had with City Council earlier this year really solidified for me that the ideas of connectivity, beautification, and addressing blight seem to have emerged as things that we would like to address. So what I am proposing, now in April of 2025, we are still cultivating new ideas as this slide presents. But rather than beginning a new master plan, you'll notice when you see the Community Development Department budget that I did not ask for the money to facilitate a new master plan. And what I think would be most helpful is if the Code Compliance Department and the Community Development Department spent their time and their firepower, so to speak, really helping to actualize and implement whatever comes out of our Midtown strategic planning efforts. So the way that I think about it, and I'm a newcomer to St. Mary's, I've been here in June, it'll be 2 years. Midtown is the missing link. Could be the great connector. It could be a destination. And I think with this visioning process that the Main Street office is spearheading with the University of Georgia, Carl Vinson Institute for Government, that could really be an opportunity over the next year, 12 to 18 months, for us as a community to consider what we want Midtown to look like. And then the Code and Community Development Departments will work on creating the tools to actually bring that to fruition. So that's kind of my proposal this evening, is that rather than beginning on a new master plan, I would like to propose that we work to really see and focus on the RSVP, as we call it, the Renaissance Vision Plan for Midtown, and actively engage in that. Okay, so what is that thing that I keep saying? A Renaissance Strategic Vision and Plan. So for those of you that have been in the city for a while now, you may remember that this same institute, the University of Georgia's Carl Vinson Institute of Government, did a vision plan for downtown. It was a beautiful plan, and as I learned from former council member Riley, and Mr. former mayor can probably confirm this for me, but the downtown strategic vision plan fed into the master plan. So I find it only fitting that the Midtown strategic vision plan will feed into our new master plan. So that's kind of going with my proposal here, is that we should fully invest in that planning process, give it all its support, try to allow members of the community to focus on that planning process and take what we learn from that and work towards its implementation and bring that into a future master plan. Okay, so just a little bit of information about that. Again, as I said, I think that Midtown can really be a connector and a destination. We just kind of have to commit to making it so. So our Main Street program has engaged the University of Georgia's Carl Vinson Institute of Government to create this plan and vision for Midtown. And embedded in this presentation is the website that that entity is creating to kind of track the progress of that. The Midtown RSVP, as we call it, has 3 phases. So right now we're in the public input phase. And some of you may have seen these little cards that are floating around town. They have a QR code on them. We have some out on the little end table there where the lamp is between the 2 chairs in the entranceway. Very simple survey, but that's where they are now. They're collecting this information. We will then branch into phase 2, which is a branding and marketing study. So this isn't just a vision plan. This is kind of helping our Main Street, our tourism, and many of our other departments and community kind of vocalize the brand of St. Mary's. I mean, you talk to so many people, what is it that makes you feel good about St. Mary's? Like, what are the things that you love here? The charm, the historic nature, the trees, the access to the water. I mean, really trying to help us collect that information and create a brand and marketing materials for the city of St. Mary's. And then the last phase will be this planning and design. So we're actually working on certain areas of Midtown, both Osborne, roughly from the theater on the tracks up there, so Osborne, then headed west to roughly Dark Entry Creek there. Right after our new Aldi on the right, you pass over that water body. So that's the width or the length of Route 40 that we'll be studying in this planning process. But we're also going to go north on Charlie Smith Sr. So, you know, think about two of our major commercial corridors, that stretch of Osborne, and then that kind of northern, probably up to Douglas. I know, Mr. White, you have a real interest in that intersection there off of Charlie Smith Sr. So those are the three phases of this Midtown RSVP, and we are at the stage of public input right now. Also, our Main Street manager, Ms. Candace Pullum, wanted me to let everybody know that the UGA design team will be in town for in-person work sessions with any member of the community that would like to join on April 22nd, 23rd, and 24th. And her contact information is in here if you want to get more information on that. I don't know why it keeps doing that to me. Sorry. Okay. So moving on from there, I think I have another slide in here that shows the survey. So basically, you could also put your phone right up against this when you're at home looking on your computer, and it'll take you right to the survey. The survey is a great sort of a variety of questions, a really fun question about what you think St. Mary's personality is if it was a person, which a lot of people I've talked to have had fun with that answer, but gets into demographics, gets into what you hate about St. Mary's, what you love about St. Mary's. So great survey. I really encourage you all to take it.
Can we get a link to that survey on the homepage of our website?
Sure. Yeah.
Because I went looking for it earlier today, you know, and if it's in our website, it's buried somewhere.
Okay.
It's not easily findable.
Got it.
And I think if we could put it right on the homepage, that would be
Absolutely.
great.
Yep. I'm sure Candace and I can work on that immediately. All right. So now I'm gonna make another proposal here, which is that this quarterly meeting that we do before our town hall, I've sort of tried to politely say that I'm going to stop giving an update on the master plan. I hope that has kind of come through. And that I would like to now kind of talk about our development progress in these meetings. We can talk about the Midtown RSVP and its progress. We can commit to giving, at least in these meetings, an Exit 1 update. We can begin to update some of the other development that we're doing. So really utilizing this time, this next 18 to 24 months, to have this meeting really go over some of the development that's happening in the community. And so why is this important? I mean, we are right now, so I'll maybe address this to help everybody. So the Community Development Department, in collaboration with the Building Department, and we have a really just exceptional GIS specialist who's employed by the Coastal Regional Commission, but she's been so helpful. And working with her, this is on our website, so if you go to the Community Development Department, you will get to what we call the Community Development Dashboard. What this is a real-time, so meaning that we give monthly updates to this, and what we show on this, we call it a dashboard because it's basically like geographically linked data. So what you're seeing here are these orange kind of larger and smaller dots. These are new subdivision applications. So these are places where the property owner came and divided up the land, and they're proposing a certain amount of units. And then what you're seeing in purple is really, these are our new single-family home, mostly, locations. So let me simplify this a little bit for you. There's all sorts of data in here. I really encourage you to get in there and click around and have a look. But if you can read the chart on the left, which you probably can't, but what we're looking at there, and we just started putting all of this data into this dashboard. So we're still working on, being able to search 2024 data, being able to search 2025 data, hopefully going all the way back to 2020 and keeping it there for everyone to look at. But the yellow line at the bottom of that chart stands for single-family residencies. So what you're seeing on this map, if you can, sorry, it's a little bit hard to see, but, and this printout will help you see it. Oh, sorry, Deborah. There we go. So every yellow dot that you're seeing is a building permit that was pulled for a single-family home. So those of you that know the city real well, you'll see Osprey Cove. So even though we think about Osprey Cove as being a fully built-out development, there are actually 98 homes that are in the process of being built in Osprey Cove. Another development on the far, I almost said right, sorry, on the far east of the city, which is Cumberland Harbor, which on this map is identified here. That is an older established development. It's been around for 20 years, but actually it's what I would call a hotspot for single-family residential building. So we have this undercurrent of development, particularly within the single-family residential use, that is happening in the build-out of Osprey Cove, in the build-out of Cumberland Harbor, and as you head a little bit further north at the top of the city, which would be this area right here, the Winding River community. Okay? All right, so as I said, this is a great resource that you can kind of get in there and see some of that data and work through. But here's the real one that I want to bring to everybody's attention. For a variety of reasons, the Community Development Department has been thinking about the growth that we are seeing in our land use applications. So many of you are familiar with the Exit 1 project. The Exit 1 project, which you can see it on the map here highlighted in kind of that bright pink color, this stands to be upwards of 2,000 units of housing. There will be an industrial use. There will be several commercial uses. And again, the council will get an update on that project on Monday. But also in these other areas that we're highlighting, we wanted to start to collect and document all of the growth that we are potentially going to see in the city. So this is a live map. This is a map that you can get to by linking off of the presentation. As you get closer and closer in on these developments, you'll see these data points start to pop up. So how much building we have going on in Osprey Cove. For those of you that are familiar with the area behind the hospital, we have a new multifamily complex going up known as Seacoast Apartments. That's 144 dwelling units. We have a new single-family residence known as the Paddocks. That's about 255 units. We've got 312 multifamily units going up in Seacoast. We've got 122 units at Stafford Point. When my staff and I started looking at this in the past year, we've approved upwards of 3,800 units of housing, right? So I think it's really important for us to start thinking about that development, you know, how it's coming, what that build out looks like for us, what the opportunities are for us as a community, what some of the challenges are. And I think that's why this sort of quarterly update on development will be very critical. I know I want to wrap this up soon, but so again, you can get on there and kind of tinker around with it. So further north in the city, those of you that know Hayden Point, their third phase was just approved. That's an additional 44 units. The third phase of Winding River has been approved with an additional 65 units. Cannon Forest has been approved with 238 units. So you can kind of see where these, these numbers are really adding up, and quite a bit of the land that was undeveloped at the time that we wrote this master plan is now taking shape in terms of what it will look like. So this is a priority for my staff and I for a variety of reasons. Just kind of ensuring that the development that we see is of a good and smart fashion. So we've been focused on that. But additionally, kind of thinking about what we will see year over year for the next 5 years in terms of these numbers. So these tools that we're trying to create can help us kind of track that in a way that I hope the public feels is kind of approachable, that you can go to this map and navigate it on the website. Last thing I'll say is that the school board has also approached us, and the planning director of Kingsland and I are going to present to the school board all of this development, because the school is interested in redistricting, and they want to understand how all of this development will impact their schools. So I think that's a really great opportunity to begin to have these discussions. And so I think it's very important that we as a community begin to really become aware of and understand and kind of work towards, that the frankly, what will become a very different city when all of this comes to fruition. So I think with that, I'll conclude. And if anybody has any questions, happy to answer them.
Jamie, one of the other things I think that would be helpful for council and the community to be aware of is the adjacent developments going on in Kingsland.
Yeah.
A lot of the property directly to the north of the Exit 1 property is currently also under development by Ron Sawyer on both sides of Highway 40.
Yep.
And, being that it shares the same, Kings Bay Road and a lot of that, that's going to be impactful, and it's important for us to be able to see outside the city limits and how that's going to affect, our roads as well. And I know we've had some conversations, and we're holding to hear about a countywide transportation plan study that it's going to be very crucial to address, like I said, this residential growth in particular in the coming years.
Yeah, thank you. And I think that the planning director in Kingsland, Scott Kimball, and I, we're preparing this information to present to the school board. I mean, I've heard through some more just casual conversations with Kingsland staff that they're anticipating 15,000 new residents in 5 to 7 years. And back of the napkin from my staff and looking at some of this, and we're really just beginning. I know that people think, well, it's more complicated, right? You can't necessarily say that all of these units are going to come on at one time. Like, you kind of have to give a span of time, but we would anticipate anywhere from 7,000 to 9,000 new residents. So I think good thing to look at.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other?
Good job.
Great. Thanks.
All right. Is that all we have for the?
That's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
Give you something to think about.
Absolutely. Guess we have some time. If there's any public comment that they'd like to have about anything that's going on here, might as well take this time and avail ourselves of the opportunity. Questions? Or we can cut it short, huh?
I do have a question.
Come on up and the mic, and please just give us your name and address.
Hi, I'm Claire Huber, and I live at 105 Raptor Way in St. Mary's in Osprey Cove. My question is, I think I talked to you about this briefly. So with the new development outside of, the Taylor Morrison development, Esplanade, are they going to be putting like walkway along the roads for bike paths, and would that be for golf carts as well?
Yeah.
And if so,
If you speak into the
oh,
microphone.
I'm sorry. And if
this is
so,
being
would those
recorded.
golf carts paths go up to Osprey Cove, and so we could also be a golf cart community and utilize the new retail spaces as well? And that's something that people are interested in. So is there anybody that can answer that, or?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think that, the original intent of the Exit 1 development was for a 10-foot wide multimodal path to run basically from just past where the current Siegel's billboard is on the south side of St.
Right.
Mary's Road, down all the way in front of the Exit 1 development and stop before it gets to Osprey Cove.
Right.
I think that's what's in this proposal, but I think the intent was always to carry it forward. And then the other really cool thing is to get us down to Osborne and continue it to come down Osborne. And I think that those connectivities, we can start talking about them in the RSVP or the Midtown Revitalization Plan. But also, I mean, I think that if residents of Osprey Cove wanted to get engaged and figure out a way to see that come to fruition, because as the commercial development and other elements of Exit 1 start taking shape, we have talked a lot about, like originally that multimodal path might have just been intended for bikers and pedestrians. But as everything takes shape, it just makes perfect sense that you would want to be able to have folks get out of their cars and get into their golf carts and go to the grocery store or go to a place to eat and then go back.
Well, I am on the communications committee with that, and I am meeting with some people tomorrow, so
Good.
I will bring that.
And you'll let
to
them
their-
know about
I'm
the
gonna-
update?
I'm going to let them know about the update. I put it
On
on the website all the time, so I do appreciate your time. Thank you.
Claire.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, well, if there are no further comments, we'll go ahead and close our master plan, final master plan update for a while. And we'll re-adjourn back at 6 o'clock for the town hall. Thank you.